Welcome back. It's still Wednesday, March 31st. We're going to jump over here and look at the S&P 500. The link for the risk disclosure is in the notes section here in the comments just below the video in the description. Please make sure you read that and understand the risks that are involved with trading futures. So we started out this morning and we talked about that it would be important if the market was going to push higher that we would want to push up above here. This would be imperative to push up above here and then hold up here for strength. And what we can see is that coming into the open, and then if you go back and you look at this morning's video, which was fairly comprehensive, we talked about how it wasn't just one way up here, that there was a lot of, basically above here, this was a new all-time high. And a lot of times you get into that new all-time high territory and traders start thinking, okay, we're off to the races here. There's nothing in the way. And that was certainly not the case. We knew that was not the case. We had 4 prediction points right here within about 8 points. And what happened from the first time we traded into this price, that was at 9 o'clock, until they finally, the last time they came back and tested that was just before 1 o'clock. So for 4 hours, it traded in this 8 point range, which was into new all-time high territory, which we had before the market was open. We actually had all that last night. So pretty remarkable. Again, just some of the magic of prediction points. So what happened? They broke up above here. They came back. They held, off to the races. We had the CP for a new all-time high at 84.50. They front ran that by 3 ticks, so we got to 83.75. Second attempt higher, failed on the second attempt higher right there, so fairly important up here. Again, both times front running the CP by 3 ticks. And then from there, we knew that they had not been back to retest this area. And so this was, you kind of could argue this is certainly not the best area. This is really not the best area either. It's just that maybe they're going to try and make it one more run into the close. So we did have an order here for the live trade signals that came in and then came up to the first target and then got out at break even. And this one actually kind of got front ran by like 3 ticks. And then at the very end of the candle, it popped down there, filled it, and then popped back up there. And then that was pretty short lived. So the story was pretty clear this morning coming in. Things were not super strong. I said this morning in the video that things had kind of progressively gotten weaker in the market. And if you look at what actually happened here today, this was the opening price. New little trick I just learned. Been using NinjaTrader forever and didn't know that. So the market opened at 60 or at 57. And the close down here when right over here actually was at 64. So not a huge change on the day. And in MAP we said that if the market did in fact get to new all-time highs, it was just not so easy to stay up there in new all-time high territory. And we did see that come back down here. So I mean, pretty straightforward today. It was tough. If you didn't get long early in the day there, it was a bit tough. And then, pretty nice move over there. I want to I'll show you one thing actually on the NASDAQ. I primarily trade the S&P just because there's so much volume there. We do have a number of traders who like the NASDAQ. They like the volatility, that's for sure. So let me pull up this chart and show you just what it looked like from a prediction point standpoint on the NASDAQ over here. So here's just a really simple 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ and what we can see at the open. So there's a lot going on right here. This ended up holding the CP within, I don't know, a tick or two or something. Really close, holds that CP, and it was just sort of off to the races. There was a pullback here to the top of this KP. That ended up getting up here within a tick or two. They did probe through this by just a few points and then ended up coming down in the low of that swing low was the KP to the tick. So the thing is that there were very, very tradable moves inside of here, and from here up to the KP, and we'll see if they have more room in it. What made this really interesting as a resistance point is if you look up here, since we're talking so much about the methodology behind prediction points, this is an 80-point gap up here on NQ, so it's a pretty decent gap. So pretty likely that if the market pushes through here and holds up here, we've got an 80-point target up to there. So that's just in the line of the methodology behind prediction points. What you can see is once they did come down, they held back below these. So broke above over here in the early part of the morning, held above it, and then came back and couldn't hold it again. So again, I am sticking with the story of what I said earlier, and we'll see how the overnight session goes, and we'll take it one step at a time tomorrow. Again, Friday, Good Friday, we won't be doing this. We'll be doing something else. So we'll see you here back in the morning. We'll see how things unfold, but pretty much go back and watch this morning's pre-market video. Go back and watch this, see how things played out. Once again, prediction points tell the story as the way that it unfolds, but they do it ahead of time. So we'll see you in tomorrow.